coming back for Doctor Strange 3, though, man. And they're saying they're pushing him further and further into the limelight, kind of taking over that Tony Stark vision moving forward for the rest of this phase. Of course, now with Doctor Strange 3, it says it's going to kind of lead into the Kang Dynasty, where it's Kang versus Doctor Strange. That's the rumor that's been going around. People have been saying about this, that Marvel's pushing him, though. But for Doctor Strange 3, this rumor's been going everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. And the Cosmic Wonder, or the Cosmic Circus is the person that really broke this story. And they've been really fucking accurate about their shit recently. They're saying that... Shockingly. But they're saying that their one's going to be based off of Time Runs Out. This is a comic event that happened where Doctor Strange is, very front and center about these incursions. And Clea, who came at the very end, it's going to pick up right there, and she's going to take him to this whole council. They're called the Black Priests, and they're going to actually try to get his help to fix the incursion that he caused. Now, their whole universe is actually in what they call the nothing space. It's like an in-between place of two incursions, two dead universes caused by an incursion, I should say. And they're apparently going to take him there and try to get him to stop the incursions and fix everything together. That's what the idea is. And they're saying the Marvels will actually might cause an incursion too, which might lead into this, which is coming out in November. So that might make sense for the time frame. But apparently the multiverse is going to be dying because of all of these incursions, and Doctor Strange is going to be pulled in to fix it. But apparently he's also, as we saw in the Multiverse of Madness, he's also, what they say in 818 universe is that he's part of the problem. That's why they killed him, that he would always cause incursions. He would always cause problems. And when Kang comes into it, what they're saying, the Cosmic Circus said about this, is that Kang's perspective actually is going to be is that Kang's the hero trying to stop actual Doctor Strange from making all these incursions and destroying the universe. But Kang's no fucking hero, unless he's Denzel Washington, which he should be. Then he might be my hero. But beyond that, he's no fucking hero. Denzel for Kang. Hashtag Denzel, bitch. Kang for life, if you will. But that's where they're going. The Black Priests look very strange. This whole comic book seems very strange. The Time Runs Out, but it makes sense because it all is the in-between stuff before Secret Wars. And so for me, I guess that kind of makes sense why we would go this route. I want to go to Sean first because I know Sean's probably, as he's read Secret Wars.
How did I know? Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think? Does this make sense to take this route for Doctor Strange 3? Do these rumors make sense to you, or does it seem like far off base and there's no reality at all in this whole babble back and forth about Doctor Strange 3?
No, I think when you look at the current state of the MCU and you compare it to the state of comic books that was leading up to Secret Wars, which, yes, did engage with the Time Runs Out storyline. The only character that was really there that you can really kind of reliably kind of bring to the forefront is Doctor Strange, especially with that Clea teaser at the end and that third eye kind of popping out. Of course, they don't really have another leg to stand on. We don't have a Namor. We don't really have a Black Panther aside from what we saw in Wakanda Forever. That relationship isn't really kind of, mentioned. We don't have a Beast. We don't have a Hyperion. I'm just naming characters that no one else knows, but this is fantastic.
Henry Cavill could be Hyperion. That was a rumor for a long time.
Yeah, but Beast has been around. He's been Nicholas Hoult.
You have to bring Nicholas Hoult in, though.
Favorite actor.
We know.
That's
Sean.
a lot for him to catch up in the MCU. That's all I'm saying. Time Runs Out. Time Runs Out was a fantastic storyline. It showcased a lot of the devastation possible with incursions that was hinted at. Yes, that was hinted at in Doctor Strange 2. It shows a lot of different varieties of heroes throughout it. There's a really good allegory for Superman in a few of those. Again, it's a great storyline. If they do it justice, I'm excited to hear it. But I think at this point, MCU is just kind of saying, well, who the fuck is left to kind of lead this? And it's only Doctor Strange. Just because of the decimation of the core Avengers that were really part of the lead up to Secret Wars. So not surprised, excited to see a faithful adaptation if we get it, or whatever realm of adaptation we do get with this third movie. Only time will tell.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right, Sean. Doctor Strange is the last man standing right now. He really is. You got You got Spider-Man, but you got really Doctor Strange has been kind of the glue and everything lately. Like, again, he popped up in Spider-Man. It seems like they're pushing forward and pushing forward. Benedict Cumberbatch seems very willing to commit his time to this role, and he's great as Doctor Strange. So they're probably looking at this universe, like, what can we do with Doctor Strange to lead the way? Do you think like a Kang battle is going to happen, though? Is that imminent? You think that's going to be something that's going to definitely go down, him and Kang? Is that in the comics at all?
It's not part of the time runs out storyline whatsoever. So I am excited to kind of see how Kang is shoehorned into it for the MCU. I think especially they kind of overplayed their hand with the Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, because of course who else is going to be responsible for all this except for Kang? So I'm not surprised. I'll be interested to see it. There is a variant of Kang that is a good guy. So if we get a chance to see that played out in the movies as we do in the comic
Denzel
books,
Washington.
By Denzel, a fan of the show, Denzel Washington. So I would be happy to see it. But for now, again, this is all conjecture until shit actually happens, and it's not going to happen until the fucking strikes end. So,
that's just what it is.
It's not happening. Yeah, exactly.
Sabrina, do you see this happening? What do you think? Do you think this makes sense for Doctor Strange based off of Sean's knowledge of the comics and the rumors we've been hearing?
I'm sorry, what was your question specifically?
Do you think this makes sense that Doctor Strange would be doing this whole multiversal thing with the incursions and being a big figure to try to take on and fix the multiverse before Kang comes
incursions, there's multiple versions of Kang incursions, there's Ant-Man incursions,
of it all,
incursions, the worlds are colliding, there's incursions, Sabrina.
Incursions.
The incursions are having incursion problems. Like, is that not clear enough for you?
It's that. Thank you. So that's like a DNA strand. Now I'm prepared. Okay. So first and foremost, I agree with what Sean said. Also, though, there is like this, like the in the multiverse of madness, there are a lot of clues to this, like in a way. And before I go into that, I just would like to say out loud that the third eye is really not for me. I don't like seeing it, and I don't like looking at it, and I hope there's a way that I don't have to watch a whole movie with him and that eye on his head, because I really don't want to.
You are going to have to.
I don't
it's kind of
movie.
no.
Give it to her.
I don't like it. Or maybe they can do it better, because what it looks like now is very unfortunate.
I think it's happening.
We saw the multiverse of madness with Jake Slonecki. Shout out, Jake. Miss you.
Friend of the show.
Woo!
And his lovely wife. So basically my point is, in the multiverse of madness, Fantastic Four leader person who was played by James Krasinski, Mr. Fantastic, right? Mr. Fantastic?
Mm-hmm. John Krasinski, yeah.
I said both those things. So yes, he
allow Brian to correct you, Sabrina.
on the things I said. Also, thank you for this. Really, I'll get back to that. The picture of Charlize Theron right there does not look anything like those black priests that you showed with gold heads and one eye.
Oh my God!
Just
To
be clear.
No, she's not a black priest. She's
yes. They say she is.
They say she is. That she's going to be.
All right. Well,
she's recruiting them.
Cleo, call me now.
The Cosmic Circus is the same thing.
Oh, you're pre-reading.
Call me now, my crack smoke.
That bitch got sued hardcore.
Yeah, she did.
Okay, so it's gonna take it, dial it back. I started 19 thoughts. That's like straight up my ADD coming out. Okay, so say they, I don't know who they are, but they say that Charlize Theron is part of the black priests. She's coming to get him to bring him back because he is in another timeline actually the leader of the black priests. And they're like, we need you to do this thing that you're supposed to do to save the multiverse or the universe or their world or some world.
Multiverse.
That part I'm a little sketchy on. But Mr. Fantastic also said that he was a huge threat. He had that whole fight with like the new Doctor Strange in another universe, who was that guy who was a student. I wish I knew the actor's name. I feel horrible for not knowing it. And they had that huge fight in the Multiverse of Madness. So there was that moment as well that called to that. And then there was a third. When he saw himself like in that dilapidated place where he was the only person like basically on that planet.
The incursion world, yeah.
He said,
incursion.
I wasn't able to defeat him. And we don't know who him is. I think a lot of us assume that it's Kang that he wasn't able to defeat. Maybe it was himself he wasn't able to defeat. Maybe it was Kang. I don't know.
It was Denzel.
So like there is that. Your eye penis is killing me, Brian. Keep
That's
your
what
eye
she
penis
said.
out of my conversation.
That's what she said.
And there goes the 5-year-old. So I'm feeling like I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited for the prospects, I guess. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he does a great job. This multiverse really just keeps getting more and more confusing, to be perfectly honest. And I wish that it were like a little bit more tightly bound, but it does open up for a world of possibilities. And if there's a mistake or something that people don't like, they can fix it. So I don't know. And it's very far away, again, to Sean's point. So, I mean, fingers crossed they're not going to fuck it up, honestly.
That's the goal. Hopefully they don't, but they've already fucked up a lot of their TV shows, hence why they're saying they're changing it. I mean, Bob Iger said they're going to be doing less TV shows, less of this Marvel stuff.
Wow.
It just came out something today too,
Secret
being
Invasion
like
was a fucking great
it was
success.
a fucking shit show. I mean, Mike loved it, but that's the only person that loved it. So
Mike,
I mean,
you loved it?
No, he didn't. He didn't like it. And Mike didn't watch that shit. Mike, what do you think
My
about
bad.
this Doctor Strange world? Do you think that these scoopers, these poopers, these people have any kind of inside information, or do you think, again, we're in the middle of a strike, so people are just trying to create some buzz and have some fun along the way?
I think anybody that's just saying words to create content on the internet without having serious input that they really
boy.
put their heart and What was that, Sean?
Nothing.
What kind of
Nothing.
bullshit was that? You ready
Nothing.
to fight? We're 1,000 miles apart, Sean. Are you ready to go? Okay, so that was some irrelevant bullshit. But I did have a point that I wanted to make. I wanted to make concerning what Sabrina said, and I think some of us saw coming. I saw coming 20 years ago. Sean, you may have seen coming 20 years ago, which was, or even earlier than that, actually, starting from the Joss Whedon days and Buffy days of
Future Past.
as we saw graphic capabilities growing in the visual medium and more taking of ideas from comic books. I kind of anticipated that we would have more of the same kind of problems that you see with comic books. Because initially you would see like, oh, okay, so now we can have the same continuity and we can pull actors in and out. Okay, we can have the same continuity, we can change writers, we can change everything, and we can keep working on the same story because the audience has enough familiarity with the whole program that maybe we don't have to show Batman's parents getting killed every
Maybe not.
time. Maybe Uncle Ben doesn't have to get beaten to
Uncle Ben.
death every time.
Fucking every fucking movie, kill Uncle Ben, motherfucker.
So I mean, it's maybe it's cliche.
It's
at
a
this point,
canon
Sean,
event.
but do you see? Is this a problem that's translated in terms of what we're just we're separating too much? Like, do we need to? I mean, Feige probably is on top of this. Like, how much do you mold? Like, how far do you expand from the universe? How much do you contract? Am I making any sense to you at all?
No, you are. I think for me, it's Feige is caught a little bit. Honestly, between a rock and a hard place, because the expectation was you have this grand plan, you know what you're doing, we're going to give you and entrust in you all these characters, all this IP, all of these storylines that mean so much to the comic reader, to the fans, and don't fuck it up, right? And what happens is he gets cocky with it. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, and I can't say, I honestly can't. I can't say that anyone could have done as good a job as Feige has done with the pressure and amount of control that he was given, right? Like, he's going to have some missteps. He's going to have some misplays. Things are not going to go awry. But I think at this point, like, he was getting pressure from Disney, especially with that acquisition, where more is, kind of the name of the game. We need more content. We need more characters to have backstory that really don't deserve it, or really no one cares about, or need it. Exactly. And, it just kind of happened.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
well.
Well,
So
that
yeah,
was
I think
Kathleen
I think
Kennedy.
in the next couple of years, I think we're going to see a culling. I think we're going to see a refocusing and a kind of adjustment to, hey, we gave a shot. We went wide with things. It didn't work out in a lot of different ways. This is the core. This is what we're going to push forward, and this is what you're going to get, and this is what you're going to have. And people are still going to complain. People are going to say it's
They're
not
always
enough.
going to complain.
We're not giving enough time to diverse heroes and whatever. Like a lot of the same arguments you get today in comics is still going to be there within Hollywood. But again, this was a response to 5-10 years ago, and it's just a cyclical kind of nature of complaining. So yeah, it's disappointing, but this is where we're at, and I'm excited to kind of see like how things kind of course correct, I guess.